Thank you for the opportunity to introduce you to FocalPoint. This powerful yet simple access control system is ideal for systems of all sizes. We've seen a lot of success with the application, primarily because of how cost competitive it is, the scalability, as well as the flexibility. FocalPoint supports HID's single door IP controllers. I'll pull up a sample configuration so you can kind of see the layout. The edge units can be powered via PoE or an external power source, which in turn powers up all the peripheral devices at the door. It makes it a cost-competitive installation and reduces the installation time as well. What you're looking at now is the main interface for FocalPoint. And as you can see, it's got a clean graphical interface. We've found that whenever possible, if we can use large friendly icons to represent the various database areas, it just makes it easier to interact and move throughout the application. I'm going to click on the transaction monitor and pull up all the live activity. And this is primarily what everybody sees and keeps up in their system for a date and time stamp of all their system activity. For our demonstration today, I've got two controllers that I'm connected to, and if I click on the System Status tab, I can see that two controllers are enabled and that I have three others that are defined in the system but are not currently connected. So I'm going to escape out of here and get back to the main interface. We'll go into Device Manager first. So this is where anything being controlled or managed by the system is set up. FocalPoint features a concept called zones, and that's important because it's a way for us to support database partitioning, a way to logically separate the different areas of the system. It's important for who can control these devices within the zones and who can view the activity. So based on your operator privileges, which I'm logged in as the admin right now, I can see all the activity. But if I were to log in as just a standard user or somebody that would only see, one of the zones, that's all they would be able to see. It's like a system within a system. So you have a nice, clean, friendly tree view look. And if I go ahead and edit one of the controllers, when you first set up a system, the first thing you do is use a little utility to program the IP address into the unit. And once you do that, you can give it a meaningful location name and assign it to a zone. Now, if you only have a smaller system and only have the one zone, that's the only thing that'll appear. You won't trip over that feature. FocalPoint also supports user-definable input and output control. So you can monitor lights or motion detect. If you want to trigger a siren, or have conditional responses defined within the system, it's a great way to add building management capabilities to the system. We also support areas, so that's helpful for programming alarms for monitoring groups of common devices or scheduling commands for similar doors. So if you have all your exterior doors and you want to command those to unlock, you just need to do it with one command. And we also support multiple card formats and multiple facility codes. And that's for property management companies or facilities with multiple locations. We've also found that there might be many legacy systems out there with proprietary formats, and we can kind of combine them into one system and help them kind of manage that better. So once you've defined everything in the system that you're controlling, I'm going to go ahead and press Escape to get to the main menu here. I'm going into time zones next. And like other systems, we set up time zones to determine who can go where and when, so the times that those would be active. It also is used for your schedules, scheduling your doors to lock and unlock, as well as for scheduling like when you want to monitor for things. So we have a very extensive flexible time zone schedules here. You can even have multiple start and stop times that are all represented within your time graph here. One thing you'll notice throughout the application is we do include notes, which are real handy for personalizing the system. It's a way to set reminders of why you program things certain ways, and that's available throughout the whole application. Once you set up your time zones, I'm going to go into access groups. And this is where you set up your access group templates. So for each zone, you can select your zone and see which groups have access privileges within that zone. So here you just define your group, and then where it becomes meaningful is in your group access assignment. So if I scroll across the top here, you can see that my column header changes to reflect the name of the group. So I'm on my maintenance group here, and I can see via the time graph that they can go 24/7 to the main entrance as well as the delivery door. But if I scroll back over to my visitor, they don't have access at all to the delivery door, but just to the main entrance 8 to 5. So you can see that for each zone. Once you set up your access privileges, to set up a card holder is a real easy and quick process. So I'll press escape, and I will go into card holders. In the card holder section, you'll notice that it's a nice, clean, and simple format. Everything opens to the same size screen, and we use kind of user-friendly tabs to separate the information. Now, one thing we've noticed, we've been developing software for over 25 years. We have systems of all sizes, so we don't automatically populate all the card holders. We have some systems that have, 80,000+ card holder records. In my case, I have a very simple database, so I'll click on the search button to bring up all my records. But if you do have a larger database, we have amazing sorting criteria here. I can sort by any part of the last name. I can sort by any of the custom fields that we've created, or by the number range. So if I take a look at my cardholder record here, I can see I can set activation and expiration dates. I can associate a photo through an import, live capture, or I can point to where the file is saved on your hard drive. And you can see at a glance where they last used their card. So this is over and above your transaction monitor and the report. So it's just a handy little interface reference here. If you have, if you're adding the optional integrated photo ID capabilities, you can go to the layout section, and you'll see we have embedded integrated photo ID capabilities. And so you can get very creative on your badge designs, importing fixed logos as well as database elements like photos. We can rotate text. We can copy badge layouts to streamline the setup process. And we support all major printer manufacturers. So this is all in one step, and it's an optional feature for the application. I'm going to escape out of there and continue in the cardholder section. We support custom fields, and you can actually add lookups within those custom fields. So it's a very quick and easy process. I can go ahead and add a new lookup to my supervisors, and we'll go ahead and add Smith. And I've just highlighted it and clicked Add New Field, and now I'm done. So now I've got that within my options for setting up custom lookups. The Access Group tab is the individual assignment for this card holder. So we already set up the templates of who can go in and where, and now I'm just assigning this card holder to that group. So for the headquarters, this card's a member of the security, which if I click on the Where Allowed tab, you can see a quick graph, a matrix of where they can go and make sure it matches up with your expectations. We support holiday exceptions with Focal Point, so if there's ever a day that you want to not have normal access control, you can flag that in our holiday calendar here, and you can add a holiday, and you can bring up a handy calendar to say when that would be active and which group it's a member of. And so that's something that's you can set up for your building commands as well as for your card holders. So as I can see here, that this card holder can have access on that exceptional holiday. I'm going to escape out of here, press my escape button, and close the area. And then the other big portion of the system is how we handle alarms. So if you want to be notified of anything that's an exception, say forced entry or invalid card, you can flag that in the alarm definition. So I'll go ahead and trigger an alarm here. And when that occurs, the alarm screen will automatically take over, give you a reason, give all the instructions on screen, And if it's an alarm with a card holder associated, you can have a photo. But I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge that. And a couple of things have happened. So I still have a live transaction, but I also have triggered an email response for this alarm as well. So if I go into my alarm definitions module, I can see that I just generated a card holder type of an alarm, and I can go in and take a look at that. Actually, it's this one right here, and I can see an invalid status was flagged, and I can force the operator to enter comments or that it must return to a non-alarm condition. And then I can set up a pre-canned or predefined email message. So that's all up to the user's discretion. You can also have time graphs, so you can have certain times when alarms would be notified. A good example is maybe during the day you don't care about door props, but after hours you want that to be flagged as an alarm. So anything that is managed by the system, anything that you want to be immediately notified of can be flagged as an alarm. It certainly can even be an access granted at a sensitive location. So I'm going to go into the command center next. And this is anything that you want to control or automate with your facility. And so the most common or most frequently used command is your scheduled command, and that's the reoccurring command. Most common example is having your front door unlocked during the day but locked back up after hours. So if I take a look at that, I can see that I can have that command a single device or an entire area. And here I can see the time zone when it's active or on, and the command I want to occur when it's off. So anything you want to automate and have go on a reoccurring schedule is in the scheduled commands. Future commands are great because they're your one-shot Charlies. They're for unexpected deliveries or unusual meetings, and these commands you can set up for well in advance. So you can just define which device you want to command and what action you want to occur, and then the date you want to have it occur. So if I want to go in and set up a command for this Saturday for 10 a.m., it might be helpful to put a reason why you want that, why you're setting up that one-time command. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, and then it's in your list here. Other commands that are available are your conditional response, your if-then commands. Most common example is like your motion detect occurs having your lights to turn on, or when it's off, no motion, turning your lights off. And any one of these conditional response commands can also be linked to an email response as well. So if I look at my panic button where there's panic, and I want it to be considered, I want this response to occur 24/7 and trigger a siren, I can send out an email response of the panic alarm. And I'll show you what that looks like. The email responses are defined in the email command listing here, and you can see that when I go into my email response, I can have it go to a group or an individual contact. And when I take a look at the actual email, you can see that I just defined the server, and all you need to know is the password and the portal. It's very easy to set up and where it's coming from. And then the actual text or email that occurs is pulling from your database. So you can set up a predefined alarm text message that pulls this information from the database. So you can have a bunch of these all ready to go, and you determine which conditions trigger those responses. One thing you'll notice throughout the whole application is that anywhere in the application there's always this issue command button, no matter where you are. So you can be in the transaction monitor, watching activities. There's always this command button, and wherever you're at, you can immediately get to your immediate command listing. So this is your instant command that if you want to have at the ready, to do a grant access or unlock the front door or delivery door, it's just at your fingertips. If you want to do an emergency shutdown of all your doors or disable all the card access, all the doors, you can do that with one clean command. So anything you want to issue immediately, we found that throughout our 25 plus years of developing software, That's one of the most frequently used features, to quickly get at commanding your devices and controlling your facility. So how I'm interacting with the software is I'm set up as an operator under the administrative operator. But if I take a look at my personal database or my personal operator privileges, I can see at a glance which permissions and which databases I can interact with and which zones I can interact with. So if I expand out all the different database tables here, I can pick and choose which tables I can interact with, the extent to which I can edit, view, and interact with each of these areas. The last area I will go into is the report generator rather. So I'm going to click on report generator, and one thing we determined a long time ago is inevitably if you provide canned reports, they're going to want it sorted a certain way or columns displayed in a certain order. So we wanted to give the end user the complete control over what their report looks like. And it's such an important, aspect of the system to have a full audit trail that they can get exactly how they want. You'll find that this will do everything you need it to. And once you create your report, you can actually run a saved report and just run the same report and just tweak it with one change. So it's essentially doing save as, and you can have unlimited reports within your system. And create a standard transaction report. So step one, I'm going to create a new report, and I'm going to select the report type will be transactions, and I'll click on next. After that, I will identify what fields or what information do I want to include on the report. So for this one, I'm going to check the cardholder name, the condition on the report, the location, the encoded number, and let's put the name on the transaction as well as the transaction date. So we'll kind of have a nice clean report of who went where and when. Step 4, it's asking me how do I want to display the order of the columns. So personally, I like my transaction date to be the first column. So I'm going to move that up to the very top in the first column. I like to have the encoded number closer to the cardholder name, so I'll highlight that and move that up. And now I've got my report how I want it. So from here, I'm going to sort it by date. You can sort it up to 3 levels deep if you prefer. And then next, I'm going to select my date range. So I'll just save with today. And if I don't customize it further, it's going to give me all my reports, all my activity. So I'm going to filter and make this a very unique report and filter it and use the condition access granted as my criteria. So I'm only running a report of all the access granted for today's activity. So I'll set that as a criteria and run my report. And then from here, you can print it, you can email it, and you can send it to whomever you want. But here's your report of all your access granted for today. Now, if I want to tweak this further or save it for future use, let's say I want to only do it by the delivery door. So if I want to put a certain location, I can highlight that and then filter it further. So if I want it to be like my delivery door, I'm just going to put delivery. So now I'm saying access granted and delivery door. I'm going to run that report, and we'll see that it'll only give me my access granted for my delivery door. So essentially access granted by location. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and we'll go ahead and save this for future use. We'll say delivery door access, and we'll save that, and it's saved. So if you prefer, you can certainly export it, but I'm going to go ahead and get out of here and go back into reports. And so now if I want to run that same report again, I can click on Run Saved Reports, click on Next, and you'll see it will be at the bottom of my list, and I can run it as defined. And from there, we don't have to make any of those decisions. We've got it exactly how we want it. It's nice and clean. Now, one thing I've found that most people aren't going to run the same report over and again, so what you can do is highlight it and quickly step through the choices and maybe just change your date parameters. So I'll change it from today through today, and or from yesterday through today, and run that report. And that'll essentially give me the data for both days now. I can see from yesterday through today. So you can keep doing like a save as and get it exactly how you want. And we always include, step-by-step instructions. I'll go ahead and save this again, and I'll save it as another name. And there you have it. So one thing that we found with Focal Point, it's just made access control more accessible to smaller, mid-sized companies who traditionally haven't considered access control. It's just got a great cost-effective price point. It's a clean and simple interface with its fixed per-door pricing. It's easy to budget for and easy to expand. So I thank you for your time. If you have additional questions, please feel free to contact us at 1-800-332-1013.